Said he was convinced his friend, Private Sean Benton, had killed himself because he was being put through hell. A chronically ill British woman who won the right to travel abroad for an assisted suicide has died. The High Court ruled on Tuesday that her local authority could not stop her husband from helping the woman, named only as Mrs. Z for legal reasons, from leaving the country. Police in Switzerland, where euthanasia is legal if it is self-administered, said today that the 66-year-old woman had died at a clinic in Zurich. Thousands of Filipinos have been returning to their washed-out homes after this week's typhoons, which left more than 1,000 people dead or missing. Emergency services have been delivering food and tents for the thousands who've been displaced by 4 deadly storms in 2 weeks. Widespread deforestation has worsened the effects of the storms, and President Gloria Arroyo, who visited the flood-hit region today, promised to crack down on the illegal loggers she says are to blame. Now with the sport, here's Kemi.
So tonight, Chelsea are still 5 points clear of Arsenal. All eyes now look to their big clash next Sunday at Highbury. In today's early kick-off, it was the West Londoners winning, destroying visitors Newcastle. Following a goalless first half, Chelsea administered a footballing lesson in blue. And who other than Frank Lampard to break that first half deadlock? Great control and composure gave Chelsea the buffer they needed to let loose. Substitute Didier Drogba was equally deft in front of goal, turning and shooting past Shay Given to make it 2-0. True to Chelsea's international heritage, Dutchman Ian Robben stepped up for the third, the very model of goal-bound efficiency. Next up, Serbian Mateja Kecman for his first Premiership goal, and some goal it was, chipping the keeper from the penalty spot. Today, not one given we'll look back on fondly. So that leaves Arsenal no closer to their rivals despite beating Birmingham. Without the services of troubled keeper Jens Lehmann, dropped for the first time in his career. His replacement had little to do, however, with goals at the other end from Robert Pires and a brace from Thierry Henry. Spurs hadn't scored away from home in the Premiership in over 5 hours of football, but Robbie Keane put an end to that unwelcome record, scoring against Blackburn at Ewood Park. The match is still being played. At the moment, it's 1-0 to Tottenham. So confirmation then of those and today's other results. Villa drew 1-1 with Liverpool. Everton beat Bolton 3-2. Man U beat Southampton 3-0. Norwich lost 1-0 to Fulham, and Portsmouth beat West Brom 3-2. So with wins for all the top 4, there's no change at the top, leaving Arsenal no closer to reducing that 5-point deficit to Chelsea. And little change at the other end, although Fulham leapfrog Birmingham, who drop a place. Blackburn's poor goal difference means even if they win, they'll almost certainly stay 6th from bottom. And in Scotland, there were wins for Aberdeen, Celtic, Motherwell, Hearts and Livingston. Cricket and England were looking to stay unbeaten against Zimbabwe in today's third one-day international in Bulawayo. The home side opted to bat first, their young and strike-weakened team eager to forget Wednesday's 161-run drubbing. Opener Stuart Matson Kinyeri hit a career record 73 to keep the prospects of a first Zimbabwe victory in 16 matches within the realms of possibility. They managed the series' best 2-3-8 for 7 off all 50 overs. The very last ball, a convincing boundary, grist to an ecstatic crowd. England's reply was delayed by rain, not that it deterred Vikram Solanki, who swiftly made his half-century with style. And then he followed it with the full 100.
There it is.
Clapped on by his teammates and earning him a well-deserved man of the match. Captain Michael Vaughan reached England's target of 239 with a full 8 wickets to spare, winning the series 3-0 with 1 match left. The International Association of Athletics Federation wants more information from the man accused of supplying American athletes with performance-enhancing drugs. Victor Conte, head of a Californian sports lab, claims he saw former Olympic champion Marion Jones inject herself with drugs. She denies the charges and plans to sue.
Anti-doping rules that are in place are so easy for the athletes to beat, it's like taking candy from a baby.
Are you saying that Marion Jones was a drugs cheat?
Without a doubt.
Do you admit to devising her program for drug use?
Yes, I do.
Rugby, and New Zealand took on the Barbarians at Twickenham, with most of the Barbars players coming from the Southern Hemisphere because of competing Heineken Cup matches. The All Blacks posted the first points, but the Barbarians replied with a try scored by Xavier Rush, a New Zealander scoring against his home team. As the rest of the All Blacks munched fish and chips in the stand, their colleagues on the pitch saw off the Barbarians without too much trouble, running in a total of 7 tries to win 47-19. And in the Heineken Cup, Stade Francais beat Ulster by 30 points to 10. The Frenchmen went ahead thanks to 3 penalties in the first half, but in the second half, Ulster's defence couldn't hold them back. Within 2 minutes of the restart, Stade had scored a try. 2 more tries secured them an easy win. And a thrilling finish to the big race of the day. For the 2nd year running, Moscow Flyer secured the Tingle Creek Trophy chase. At 2-1, the 11-year-old was second favourite, but on the track, he led all the way. Barry Geraghty riding with great confidence to win by a good length. Azir topped the 6-5 favourite, rode in second. Well Chief was third at 6-1. That's the sport. Back to Krish.
Thanks, Kemi. Now, the former boss of the Cali drugs cartel is sitting in a Miami prison cell tonight following his extradition from Colombia. Gilberto Rodriguez Oruela is the most significant drug trafficker ever handed over to the US by Colombia. He was known as the chess player for his ability to outwit the authorities. But how much effect will his extradition have on the cocaine business? Here's Nicholas Glass.
A small military operation to shift a very important prisoner from one country to another. And it was deliberately accomplished in front of the cameras. Every move recorded, including the paperwork. The man adding his signature here is among what's referred to as America's most wanted. Gilberto Rodriguez Oruela is almost a mythical figure, the head of a Colombian drug cartel that at one time dominated the production and international traffic of cocaine. 65 and white-haired, he looks an avuncular figure. His extradition from Bogota to Miami was a serious and very public business. An American military escort on the airport tarmac. The prisoner emerging in a short bulletproof vest. But still, this being a media event, a television reporter was allowed in close enough to ask a question. Like everyone else, Oruela was fully aware of the significance of the handover. Yet another Colombian drug trafficker extradited to the States to face trial. Almost 200 have been sent there in the last 2 years or so, although Oruela is by far the most important. He boarded the plane to Miami at a time when Congress will soon be asked for more money to help fight the drug industry in Colombia.
I think that the Americans were calling for something to placate the domestic audience, who were saying, you know, you've thrown $4 billion at Colombia to tackle drugs production. Cultivation hasn't gone down. The amount of cocaine coming into the States, coming into Europe, hasn't come down. The price has not gone up. It seems to have had a limited effect on the cocaine trade. So they wanted a symbol.
This was Oruela when he was first arrested in Colombia some 9 years ago. The Americans claim he was still able to run his cocaine empire from jail. Almost immediately after his re-election last month, President Bush visited Colombia to talk to his counterpart, President Alvaro Uribe. Uribe has proved to be a staunch Bush ally, and Colombia the recipient of more American aid than virtually any other country save Israel and Afghanistan. The aid comes in many forms, including American military hardware and advisors, all for use, it seems, in the ongoing wars against drug traffickers and against left-wing guerrillas. In recent years, cocaine production has become much more diversified with lots of small producers. There may not be a single cartel anymore, but the white powder is still being made in vast quantities. And beyond symbolic extraditions, it's unclear whether American aid is having any serious impact.
Nicholas Glass reporting. When we come back, where have all the shoppers gone? High street stores slash prices to win us back, but is the Christmas rush a thing of the past? Welcome back. This is Channel 4 News now. With only 3 shopping weeks until Christmas, it's not just shoppers who are getting anxious. The retailers fear higher interest rates could be having an impact on sales, with the latest figures showing a slump of up to 8% on last year. And there are already signs the stores are panicking, with a rash of discounts and sales aimed at luring in the pre-Christmas punters. Our business reporter Faisal Islam has been on the hunt for those missing consumers.
Christmas is here again. We're bringing good cheer again. And I know Forget the singing Santa. Father Christmas appears to have dozed off indefinitely. There's not much festive spirit on the high street. Despite the best efforts of our big-name stores, shoppers appear to be staying at home, so far at least. Here at never knowingly undersold John Lewis, sales over the past week are down 3.6% compared to the same period last year. Big-ticket electronic items like digital cameras, radios and music players are doing pretty well, but there can be no hiding the disappointment at a newfound reticence among British shoppers.
We're seeing sales growing steadily, perhaps not as fast as we would want them to, but we still have 21 days left till Christmas. There are 3 weekends left, and I think after this weekend it'll start to sink into our customers' minds that they better start shopping now, otherwise it'll be too late.
In fact, the latest figures do reveal a worrying slump in people visiting high street stores. Last Saturday, a whopping 8% fewer shoppers were recorded compared with the same day last year, while on Sunday the number was down 4.3%. All of which has seen retailers scrambling for the panic button. All the signs are that with the housing market cooling and mortgage payments up, people are being that little bit more careful with their money. Even at this behemoth of bling Selfridges, they're having to offer 20% discount vouchers to get people through the door. They're not the only ones on the high street. All are facing rabid competition from the internet. Many of those missing shoppers are to be found here, in a virtual sense, at the offices of Britain's leading shopping website. 10% of Christmas shopping will be bought online. But crucially, even those that remain buyers on the high street are using such sites to search out the lowest prices in advance, piling even more pressure on those mainstream stores.
The temptation of the high street compared to the web is the temptation of home and a nice warm fire burning and your laptop or your desktop sitting next to you, compared to being out on the high street and shoving around and finding a parking space, and God only knows what else is going to happen. So there's a very big temptation there. But the other temptation is the huge range of choice. So on a site like Kelku, we have over 3,000 merchants offering something like 3.5 million products. You won't find that. You can't go to a shopping center that big.
So what are our flailing retailers to do? Well, upscale brands such as Aquascutum have spent millions on reforming their flagship store as a Regency-era townhouse. Buying a garment here should be an indivisible extension of the clothes' quality, say the shop's designers.
Well, I think, retailers are disconnected from the consumer's panic. That they will discount early, they will discount too early, and they've trained the consumer. The consumer now understands that if they wait, they will get bigger discounts. It's become a Mexican standoff. Will the retailer go first, or will you make the purchase first? And the consumer is now happy to wait longer and longer and longer. So I think you find the people that are offering the 20% days in the middle of November are going to be the first people to offer profit warnings after Christmas.
As shoppers leave it increasingly late to raid the high street, it's not just the kids waiting on Santa. Many a store manager will be facing a nervous Christmas Eve too, wondering if they'll ride out this pre-Christmas crisis.
On to the weather now, and the satellite shows variable amounts of cloud across the UK, with a frontal zone edging across northern Scotland and western Ireland. Mild tonight, with a weather front pushing southeast across England and Wales, bringing patchy rain in places. A few showers over Scotland too. Sunday will be mostly dry and bright, breezy in the northwest with some cloud and spots of rain later. Temperatures into double figures. Well, we're back tomorrow at 7:30. Until then, from Kemi and from me, that's Channel 4 News. Have a good evening.